listening to The Mother Love Show, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hey, my cyber babies, welcome to another wonderful day in LA Talk Radio. I am your host, Mother Love, coming to you live and in living color from our beautiful studios here in Los Angeles, California. We're going to get right to it. We want to thank you for listening. Remember to like me on Facebook, follow Mother Love on Twitter at Mother Love Show, and remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to let people know that you can watch Mother Love's season show, Forgive or Forget, on the Bounce TV network. Click on their website on Forgive or Forget and let them know you like that show. I am talking about liking the show and liking yourself. So many people, as we start off into a new year, we're blasting off. Everybody's making their resolutions and hoping that they can stick to them. I say forget New Year's resolutions. Whatever you're going to do to start your life, do it today. Start now. Understand what it is that you need to do, and to help us gain a new perspective and feel empowered, on the phone with me is Toby George Nyghtstorm and hopefully her husband YG Nyghtstorm. Are you both here with me?
Yeah.
Hey, Mother Love, the Nyghtstorms here.
It's the dynamic duo of life management. Let me give you just all a brief overview of who they are. On the phone with me is YG Nyghtstorm. He is a motivational and keynote speaker as well as a published author. He is known as the man not afraid to be transparent, as he helps real people deal with real issues as opposed to fake people dealing with fake issues, and you know who you are with your fake issues. His goal is to help people find the strength within themselves to take action when faced with some of the many unforeseen events that can happen in life. Even in the worst circumstances, YG says, a person still has the power to take the necessary steps to change their life for the better. His beautiful wife, I'm putting it out there right now to let you know they're both out the market. They are the dynamic duo. They work together in tandem, which we really need more of. She was born and raised in Hotlanta, Georgia. Toby George Nyghtstorm is CEO of Nyghtstorm International LLC, co-founder and secretary of Victor Sims Foundation, a nonprofit organization which hosts family-structured community events and assists youth who are interested in becoming first responders. So she is there teaching and training the new people that's going to be the crazy people, the one that's going to strap on equipment to run into firefights, to run into fires, to run into gunfights, to run into people when they flipped over their car because they're drunk behind the wheel. Those are the first responders. And I say they're crazy because they strap on equipment and they run to danger. And those are the kind of crazy people I love. And it's wonderful that you're teaching and training them. She is also the president and co-founder of Yabi LLC, an online company which specializes in customizable illuminated picture frames, and is the wife of motivational speaker, author, and entrepreneur, Mr. YG Nyghtstorm. Thank you both for joining us, the dynamic duo of life management. And mind you all, audience, I just gave you like a short blurb about what the these two awesome people, this couple, this married couple, are doing in their community and want to help you do. Welcome to the program, YG and Toby George. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us, Mother Love.
Hey, Mother Love.
Hey, YG, I like the way he said it. He said, hey, Mother Love. So first of all, let's tell people how the two of you met, because as a husband and wife team, with the divorce rate through the roof, it is just so refreshing to know that there are other young people who believe in the sanctity of marriage and that you work through it and you stay in it. First of all, how long have you been married?
Well, we've been together 14 years strong, and our anniversary is coming up, and I did not forget this year.
Wait, and he said it, Toby George, like he just so proud because I've been forgetting all the other years.
You should be.
I mean,
but you know what? I must say, Mother Love, there was one year we were working so hard that the both of us forgot our anniversary until it was like the next day, early morning. We were going, dang, what's today? Oh, happy anniversary, sorry.
Wait a minute. You know that's a shame when you're moving too fast and I've been there. I know exactly. And you guys have only been together 14 years. Wait till you get to 41. My husband and I just...
That's what we're praying for.
It's a work in progress, honey. Trust me. My husband and I just celebrated our 41st year this past October. So we're working on our 42nd.
That's what's up, Mother Love. Tell me, go. business. So,
I know what to do. I know what to do. And that's why it's so wonderful to see and hear and know that there are young people behind me who get it, who understand the importance of it. Tell me what it is that keeps, especially in the 21st century, when you got so much white noise out here that's telling you, girl, you don't need him. Man, you don't need her. You could be out there. You violating the man code. What's wrong with you? What, you know what I'm talking about, don't you, Toby?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And like you said, it's noise. It's what it is. You have to realize what's important and say, these people are not who I'm sleeping with. They're not paying my bills. They're not supporting me and helping me get to where I need to be. And the person who's right next to me is what's important. So, and you keep that communication open and keep outsiders on the outside and let them know that you love them, but you got this.
Why do people always want to help you with your relationship?
Exactly. I mean, I tell those invaders, and I call them invaders. And when you have invaders, you shoot them out the sky because they ain't no doggone good. These folks are experts at everything and don't know nothing. They ain't never been married but can tell you how to keep your marriage. They ain't going to do nothing but help you destroy it.
Or they have been married, but it didn't last very long.
But they're going to tell you how to keep yours or tell you. See, it sounds to me like you guys have done a smart thing, like you set down ground rules for how your relationship was going to work for the two of you. Not for you and everybody else, but for the two of you. Because once you get married, I know what people say when you get married, he marries your family, you marry his family. Listen, you can make that choice if you want to. And because you might have toxic families. Do you keep these toxic people that want to poison your relationship? Because now see, Toby, like I know, and especially women can be so vicious, and they can be in your own family, your own sisters, your own cousins, your own girlfriends want to tell you what YG is doing and how he not doing what he's supposed to, but don't have a man, and if they do, they can't keep one. And if they do have one, it's probably somebody else's husband. Am I right or wrong?
You are right, and let me tell you another spin on that I have lived through and experienced. The ones that are telling you, you don't need to listen to him or whatever, you going on out and talk to so-and-so. In the meantime, they got licking their chops at your man, so that once you're out the picture, they can console them.
Oh yeah, so, I understand you. And you got a fine-looking husband, and Mr. YG, you have a beautifully stunning wife. Yes, you do. Oh, this is the thing for me. Listen, people always say, well, how do you and your husband stay together? So I'm like, look, if he wasn't fine, I wouldn't be bothered with that man.
Look, that's what I was saying. Have you seen my husband? All these muscles? He in the gym just about every freaking day.
Look, he fine. You got a good-looking husband. You are a beautiful couple. Now, do you have children?
Yes, we do.
How many kids do you have?
We are a blended family. We're a blended family of 7 children. We have 6 surviving. Unfortunately, we lost our oldest. We're coming up on the 6th anniversary of his passing at the end of this month. But we have 6 surviving, and we were blessed with a new son-in-law that we just love to death. So, we still have our 7 children, which is a blessing.
It's just one is in heaven.
Yes,
one is watching out for the rest of y'all to keep everybody else in check. So when coming with a blended family, and you said blended family, you didn't say and I love this. You didn't say we have stepchildren.
No.
You said we have a blended family.
It's a blend. I was just speaking to my daughter, and she was saying, she turned 19 this year, and she was like, it wasn't like we don't have the typical stepdaughter relationship, because when I met their dad, she was 6 and she's 19 now. So that's my daughter.
Yeah, she pretty much think you her mama.
Yes.
You the one been blowing her nose. You been the one when she started having menstrual cramps. You been the one standing there when she started smelling herself, and you was like, don't make me lop your head off.
Look, and the beautiful thing about that is YG and myself and her mom and my ex-husband, we all have a wonderful co-parenting relationship where they all know you're not going to play us against each other. So don't even try to do that. Everybody gets on the phone and have conference calls, and these kids, all of them know you better just come correct or don't come at all.
We put them in check real quick, Mother Love.
That's
I tell
what
you that.
they need.
It's a cooperation between 4 parents, and these doggone children can't pull the wool over everybody. I tell you.
Talk to people about that, because there are so many blended families and the parents want it to work. Sometimes the children want to sabotage it. What was your formulation that you sat down and were able to, for the four of you to get together, to sit down and what can you share with people who could be going through this crisis? Because, with the divorce rate at over 50% in this country, people jump up and get married for 15 minutes. They get pregnant. They leave the babies. We just heard the other day that Dwayne Wade and Ludacris, they done had 2 outside babies outside of their relationships when they was on a break. Okay, if you're on a break and you're in a relationship, why didn't you break for a box of Trojans? Shut up, mother love. Okay, so how do you sit down and start that dialogue?
Well, actually, it took a lot of patience with all of us, and we had to get over our own egos because everything wasn't pretty when I got my divorce from my first wife and Toby got her divorce from her first husband. It was hell on earth. Everybody had a bullseye on the back of their back. But I said, look here, we are not going to do what our parents did. All of us came from divorced households except my ex-wife, and it was just terrible for us growing up. If we say that we love these children the way that we say that we do, then it's our job and responsibility for us grown folks to get over our foolishness and do right by these children. And once all 4 of us got on board, we decided that we are going to be a united front and take care of these children. Come hell or high water, no matter what's going on, we are going to be a strong support system and finally give our children something that we did not grow up with.
I want to tell you, I am sitting here almost in tears because I knew it could happen. And when people don't get out of their own way and they pit their children against one another because you can't have them, and they use their children for pawns. They can't. They that they don't love those children like they say they do, and so they lie and they want to use their kids as pawns, because when you become a parent, and you guys both know this, your whole perspective changes. There are human beings who are looking to you for everything. Teach me. I want to know. And if you teach them crap, that's what they're going to get. You saw that in both of your families. Toby, what made you know that you were going to stand with YG and the 2 of you were going to be a united front with your exes to get them on board?
Well, the one thing, my oldest daughter, Gabrielle, when the divorce first went down and everybody was at each other's throats, because we were the typical, like YG said, we had our egos, and the parent, it's a divorce, so you want to show up each other. Christmas was great for the kids because, you have those gifts, and each parent is like a competition of who can do better than the other one. Now that it's 2 separate households and things like that. But when it came to all the arguing and everything, Gabrielle, who's the oldest girl, she said, I really wish one day that y'all can just stop all this and get along. I wish that one day we can all just sit together and have a meal, and we won't have all this, he ain't doing this or she ain't doing that, and this, that, and the other. And we're the type of parents that are like, when our children come to us, we have a time of self-reflection and really listen to the children and hear what they're saying and see that this is affecting them, not just what we're thinking and how we're trying to look like the better person, but this is having a psychological effect on them. It was affecting their grades. It was affecting how they were reacting to their peers and things like that. And we just really had to call both sides in and call the truth and say, hey, this ain't working. The children are being deeply affected by this. And this has more to do than with us. And it just went from there. Everybody decided to do that Michael Jackson, take a look at the man in the mirror. It took some time. It didn't start off this way. But over time, everything just came together. We grew up. All the adults grew up.
Okay, and a child had to say something. How old was your daughter when she said, I wish you guys could just sit down and we could have a meal and be peaceful?
This was middle school age. I said she was about in the 7th grade, so about 13.
So
yeah, about 13.
And
she's 23 now.
At a point that could critically affect her psyche, how a man treats a woman, how a woman treats a man, how parents treat children. Here is a 13-year-old who got it. And did you guys did we just get checked by a teenager?
Is that look?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this, Mother Love. Like I said, we grew up in chaotic households where our voices as children were not heard or ignored, and our parents did not have the courage to stop their foolishness and do right by us. Mm-hmm. So I felt personally, when I was going through my time as a kid, I felt like my soul was dying because I was not getting the nurturing that I need. And I'm going to be honest, I'd be doggone if any of my children feel like their soul's dying in my house because we as the grown folk don't know how to act right.
You know, that's really something, because there is something in your spirit, YG, because a lot of men, especially the black guys, will say, well, this is what happened to me and I'm all right, so I could do the same thing to my kids. You saw the cycle and you said, I'm getting off of this, I'm getting off this rat race, I'm getting off this wheel, and I can make the change. You said you felt like your soul was dying and you're a kid. Where was that pain coming from?
Well, ma'am, actually, when I grew up, I got abandoned by my dad very early, and because my father and mother were at war all the time. And it came to an apex when I was 11 years old, and I got raped by a camp counselor at camp. And I had no support, and my mom, pretty much, she loved me, but since I looked exactly like my father, and my father used to abuse her, she would take out that anger and aggression towards me. So when I got raped, I had nobody to talk to, and I grew up alone. So I always said to myself, when I become a father, I'm never going to abandon my children. I'm not going to punish my kid for whatever my ex-wife or their mother did, and I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to be the type of parent that I honestly needed in my life.
That's a powerful statement. Tell me about how important your faith is, because I hear God all in this to be able to get you to this point.
God was all I had, because, like I said, my father had left, and even when I told him I was raped by a pedophile, he didn't come back. And my mom, she loved me, but because of the pain and the hurt that she was suffering from the abuse of my dad, it rained on me. So all I had was God. Mm-hmm. He was the only parent that I had. He was the only nurturing that I can get. And when I finally escaped out of my household at 18, I said, God, it's just me and you. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm going to screw up, but I honestly just want to be a better son to you and a better father when I do become one, and a better husband. I will be the man that I needed in my life, and I will be the parent that I needed in my life, and I'm going to love my future wife the way my mother needed to be loved by my father.
And they just did not know. They just simply didn't know, and they can't teach what they don't know. Is your mother still on the planet?
Yes, ma'am. She's still here. My father passed away in 2007, but Mom is still mom. God bless her. I know people say, well, if you can't get along with your mama, then there must be something wrong with you. Well, I tell you, you can love folks and you can try to be the best you can, but some relationships, you got to give it to God and say, God, I've done everything I can possibly do. And now it's up to you.
That's what you got to do.
Whenever mom comes around and she lets go of that anger and that hate for a man that is dead and gone, I'm still here for my mama.
And she probably knows that that's all you can do. The scripture says, honor your mother and father so that your days are long. Scripture doesn't say you have to take abuse from your mother so your days will be long. Scripture doesn't say you have to be around a toxic person, because look, they know what they've been taught. They know what they see. This is their normalcy for them. This is what they hang on to. And your mother's from the old school. You don't talk about it. You just deal with it, and you don't act like it does anything to you, like it doesn't affect you, and you know that it does. Now, I want to ask you, Toby, when you met Mr. YG, where were you in your life, and how did the two of you come together and knew, hey, we can make this work, dude? We can make this work.
Well, actually, one thing that YG and I are definitely about is total transparency. When I met YG, I was not in the place that I needed to be the type of person that he needed at the time, because I was still married to my first husband. So I had a lot of things to work out within myself. But as time went by and that marriage the first marriage dissolved, and we talked and continued to date. We went back and forth. YG and I was actually married for about 6 months and divorced. So this was our second marriage. So we did a round, and we had to, just, we were married and divorced within 6 months the first time, so we remarried.
We didn't know how to act.
We didn't know how to act.
Wait a minute, the two of you were married and divorced to each other in 6 months?
Yes, ma'am. We married each other, and we divorced within 6 months.
I repeat, we didn't know how to act.
Wait a minute.
But
wait a minute. So you get divorced from your prospective spouses. Then the two of you get together and you get married. And then in 6 months you're like, this is not working, we gotta go. And then you get back together and remarry. What was the catalyst that made you say this is not gonna work? And what was the thread that put you back together on the path to where you are now?
Well, Mother Love, I grew up an only child, spoiled to death. Get everything I wanted, and my first husband was very passive, so I was still getting everything I wanted. And YG, on the other hand, is an alpha male, and I'm an alpha female. We butted heads.
That's why I couldn't wait to hear this story.
It was like, I want what I want, and he'll give it to me a little bit until he's like, okay, now that's enough of that. And the first time I heard no from somebody, are you serious? Oh my God!
Did you go? Excuse me.
My world shouted for a minute. My feelings were hurt. I shed tears, and I'm like, "What?"
Oh, you went the whole gamut. You went. No, he didn't say no to me. Nobody says no to Toby George. Are you kidding me? Excuse me. Do you know who I am? And he went, "Yeah, I do."
And look, Mother Love. When he met me, the voicemail. This is how full of myself I was. When he met me, my voicemail on my phone said, "Well, obviously, you're special enough to have the privilege to have my number. So why don't you leave me a message at the tone, and I'll get back to you." Woo! So that's what he was dealing with.
Wait a minute.
I have a lot of growing up to do, and over time with the bumping of the heads, we decided we wanted to stop bumping heads, and we had to get to the root of what was causing it. So we came up with a list, and it's called the Don't Tick Me Off list. And we wrote down 30 things that when we seriously sat down and said, okay, what do I do to tick you off, and what do you do to tick me off? And we're going to put this in a list, and we're going to print it off, and we're going to post it on our bedroom wall. And these are the things that we need to stay away from. And that's what we've been doing over the years.
Wait a minute. So each one of you got 30 things that tick the other one off? 30 things?
Between the two of us, it came up to 30.
Okay, I was going to say.
We sat down.
I was like, okay, 30 things that my husband would tick me off with. I could probably come up with about 4. But
no, I think we came up with a good. It was a combination of things that I do that tick him off, the things that he does that tick me off, and the things that we do together that we were both guilty of.
Now, were you able to sit down separately to compile these lists and then come together? And did you have some of the same things on that "what pisses me off" list?
Yes, yes, we did. Yes, we did. We had some things that were just, privy to him or just privy to me, and then we had some that we both were guilty of, and that we were honest enough with each other to say, all right, you're right, I am doing this, and I'm going to stop. But, it's one thing to say it, and it's another thing to see it written out in front of you.
And it's another thing to change that behavior. Are there some of can you share with us some of the you piss me off things that were on your list that you stay away from, that you want to share with the audience to help them?
Okay, one of the things is don't judge me for something that I done did in the past. Okay? Forgiveness is a huge, huge thing when you're talking about marriage and relationships.
No,
and when I reflect on when we got divorced the first time, and I was sitting in a motel room, and I was broken. And it was a rat and roach infested motel room, Mother Love. And I was sitting down thinking, I done lost my family. I done lost my baby. My kids gone. I can't live without this woman. And I need to fix myself. But one of the main issues I had was unforgiveness. I had so much pent-up rage in me from when I was a kid and being abandoned. And then whatever Toby was doing, I didn't know how to forgive. So once we got back together, ma'am, I had to learn how to forgive properly, move forward, and give Toby a chance to love me the way I needed to be loved, tell her what I needed, and give her an opportunity to show me. That was one of the main issues that I had now.
YG, that is a huge issue, to be able to be strong enough, to be man enough, to be faithful enough, to say to the person that you love, I am putting this crap behind me because you knew you deserved to be loved, like she wanted to honestly love you. And that could not have been an easy thing to do. But once you got that yoke off, once you shared that weight, once you let that weight go, what was that like for you as a new soul?
It was liberating. And I tell people all the time, and I kind of play off of some of the stuff you used to do back in the day with that forgive or forget stuff. And you never understand the power of forgiveness. See, I watched you, okay?
Yeah, you never underestimate the power of forgiveness. And a lot of times people got to understand forgiveness sometimes is not necessarily for the other person as much as it is for your healing. Because when you, especially if you did something wrong to somebody, or you holding a grudge for something that happened a long time ago and you don't want to let it go, you got to let that go for you, so that your life is full, so that you can fill all those angry spaces up with new life, with new love, with new joy, because you can make the choice. You can make the choice. Now, Toby, we done missed a break. I got to take a break. When we come back, on the phone with me is YG Nyghtstorm and his beautiful wife, Toby George Nyghtstorm. They are the dynamic duo of life management. Meet the Nyghtstorms and gain a new perspective and feel empowered. When we come back, we're going to talk about their radio program, the subjects that they cover in their seminars, and we will be back after this message. And welcome back to the program. On the phone with me is YG Nyghtstorm and his beautiful wife, Toby George Nyghtstorm. They are both motivational speakers, and they are also the host of a talk radio program called All Action New Talk, with his wife as the co-host. Tell us about what brought about the radio program and how can people hear it?
Well, actually, Mother Love, we have been blessed to talk about the power of God, and that All Action New Talk has moved. That was on Blog Talk Radio, but now, starting this Thursday on January the 9th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we're going to be on Love 860 a.m.
Congratulations.
And that also, yes, ma'am. That also is in partnership with iHeartRadio, iRadio Now, and Tune In. It's streamed live from Nyghtstorm.com. That's our radio show, our site, and also Love 860's website. So we're expanding.
Nyghtstorm Radio coming at you, Mother Love.
At you live, baby. Now talk about some of the subjects because you guys cover some really heavy subjects in your conversation and in your speaking around the area. You talk about domestic violence. You know what that's like, YG. Are you a survivor of domestic violence as well, Toby?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But the power of prayer and faith and deliverance, domestic violence can go very wrong. And you have a lot of people that are not here to talk about it, and we're blessed enough to be able to be one of the few that can help others because we've been there. A lot of our topics, we deal with domestic violence and broken families, the death of a child, managing stress. We've both been homeless, so we talk about that. Positive conflict resolution, like we were saying with the co-parenting.
Can we talk about that for a moment, please? Because it seems that so many people nowadays don't even have what I would consider basic coping skills. I mean, they're ready to fight. They're ready to kill their spouses. We had a man down here in a very quiet, quaint community in California. Man went into the beauty shop, shot up everybody, killed 8 people in the beauty shop because he mad because his wife want to leave him. You pulled the gun on me. You done killed me and all my friends. Why are people having such a difficult time dealing with positive conflict resolution? And what kind of conflict resolution are you guys instructing?
Well, Mother Love, in the book, YG has a book where we both wrote it together, but I let him go ahead and put his name on it.
My queen. Thank you, my queen.
But All Action, No Talk. And when we get into that book, we're discussing about homeostasis and the things that we grew up with, that we don't even realize the baggage that we're bringing into the world from childhood, our parents' baggage. You know, when a lot of times when they're like, don't be friends with your child, be your child's parent, and things of that nature. But a lot of times with single-parent households, and I know I was even guilty of it at times, is that you sit and you talk to your kids and you vent like you are venting with an adult friend, and they're taking all that stuff in, and it's becoming their baggage too. Mm-hmm. And they're growing up with this, and then they get into their own relationships, and they're having this type of reaction to what's going on, and a lot of times they don't even know why they're reacting this way, and a lot of times it has to do with what was put in them as a child growing up.
And they're just
then you have life's own disappointments and the heartaches and anxieties and stress, and it just compounds. And especially in our culture, we're still on that, I'm not going to therapy, you know, that's for crazy people.
That's for crazy.
You know what? No psychologist, I could handle this myself. So it really has a lot to do with that. And I am so glad, my beloved, that you brought up this coping skills, and they want to fight and act a fool, because, you know, that is all you see on TV these days, with the reality shows and the bad behavior and things like that. So that's another thing that's coming up for us. We're trying to pitch our own reality-type talk show that we want to show people that you can, you know, handle these types of situations in an alternative way to handle these conflicts, where things can get taken care of without having to put your fist in somebody's face all the time.
You know, you don't
that's
need
another thing we're working on.
You don't need to catch a case, you know, and people don't lay ground rules in their relationships.
Exactly.
They said, "Oh, I love you, and you so cute, and you so handsome. You got pretty legs and pretty eyes, and you got a big butt, and I like your shoes." And then you look over here at John, and I'm gonna slap the taste out of your mouth, and then I'm gonna give you a steak and tell you, "Baby, I love you," and here goes some flowers. No, you hit me. That's it. That you're not gonna get a second chance to put your hands on me. And you know, when you said that you're an alpha female and he's an alpha male, you know, sometimes you're thrust into those situations, and you have to become the dominant person for survival skills. Having been there and understanding that. Even when you have two alpha personalities, somebody has to find the balance. Are you both willing to tone it down so that you find the balance, or does somebody always have to still be right?
Well, one of the main things about marriage survival is that it's not about who wins the argument. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's about uplifting your spouse, even when they done pissed you off. Now, that's when the love come in, because like you said, it's so easy to say, "Oh, baby, I love you, baby. I love this outfit. I love how you do this. Oh, and I love how you buy me everything." No, love is when you are pissed at this person, they done hurt you, that you are willing to forgive and move past certain stuff for the benefit of the relationship. And that's one thing we had to do with the coping skills, with being alphas. We had to put the ego down. Is my feelings more important than my wife leaving me? Because I can win the argument. Okay, Mother Love, I can win this argument.
But
I can go hard for what I believe in, and I want to be right all the time. But when my wife walk out the door and she gone, and I'm in there by myself, I'm alone in my rightness.
And looking crazy. Okay? Talking about, look, I'm right and I'm by myself. Now, do I want to be right or do I want to be by myself? And so many people don't get that. And they don't want to understand that when you're talking about sharing your life, we're talking about an everyday thing. You know, people, you know, they get on my nerve the way they toss around marriage so cavalierly, like, you know, oh, it's no big deal. Marriage is an institution, not to be entered into lightly. This is not for wimps, wusses, and chumps. This is for people. And marriage is for grown folks. Plain and simple. And if you are not willing to do adult things and make adult decisions, and you know what I have found? And you guys, if you haven't found it yet, you will find this. We as people are more tolerant of our friends than we are oftentimes of the people we claim we love and we're married to.
Mm-hmm.
You ever notice that? Now your friends,
Yes,
you know, you tell them and your friend, they be talking all crazy. And you like, I know, girl, it's all right. Come on, it's okay. Your husband say the same thing, and you like, you ready to fight? Shut up! Come on. I remember I was talking to this woman one time, and I was working on a TV show, and my husband and I, we worked together, and I want to ask you about that too, about being husbands and wives and working together. And when you're together all the time, how do you find that balance? But my husband and I was asking him to do something for me, and all I said was, honey, would you please do so and so? And he said, sure, baby, I'll get that. And he bought it, whatever it was, and I said, thank you, baby. And the lady looked at me like the man was talking in a foreign language. She looked at me and she said, you are so nice to your husband. He is so nice to you. And I thought, that's an odd thing to say. If I'm not going to be nice to anybody, wouldn't I be nice to the man I'm laying next to?
Exactly.
It's just the stupidest thing to me.
And the thing about that, Mother Love, and I'm glad you brought that up, because it's about compromise, and it's also about validating your spouse. Because I tell everybody on our radio show, whether we in public and at home in front of our children, my wife is the queen, and I treat her as the queen. And if I'm going to treat her as the queen, I'm going to make sure everybody else treats her as a queen by honoring and respecting her, because she is regal and she deserves to be respected. And she turns around and she treats me as her king. She honors me and makes sure I'm respected. Now, if we are both treating each other that way, and we're compromising, and we're not trying to win, but we are trying to be successful by working together at home, working together out in the field, helping to build people's lives up and being positive examples for our children, then you know something, this ain't got no choice but to work. And I love my wife. And that's what I tell anybody. And it's easy to treat people real good when you honestly feel that love coming from them, and you're able to reciprocate it back. And it just goes back and forth. It's like love tennis. She hits, I hit, we both score. And that's how we feel about it.
And wait a minute. And then when you play in the doubles game, you know, because people oftentimes they think, I was talking about this yesterday, people think love is a word. Love is an emotion. It is an action. You can sit up and say you love somebody all day, but you prove that you love a person by the things that you do, by respecting yourself, by honoring your home, by respecting your family, you know, and people always, they often say to my husband and I that we're obsessed with each other. And I'm like, and your point would be what? Yes.
That's right.
I'm very comfortable. I'm very obsessed with him. There is nothing I would not do for this man, and he knows that. And you know how some people, they figure, oh, I got her, I love her, he love me, I got her nose wide open, she'll do anything for me. People that love one another are never going to ask the other to do something that would compromise their values, their morals, their faith, or their love. Love is not, you don't negotiate with love. You know, you don't sit up and say, well, if you do this, I'll do that. Either you do it or you don't do it. It's just that simple. What would you say to, and this is for both of you, you know, from a husband's perspective, from a wife's perspective, and especially from a blended family, because it's like nowadays you hardly can't find anybody that's married that you want to marry that doesn't have any kids. You're like, what? You ain't got no kids? You like men? You like women? What's up? You know, it's like you're an odd person. What would you say, the both of you, what advice would you give to young people who want to get married, who want to start this life together, to help them stay together?
Well, our oldest daughter, the one that was 13, Gabrielle, she just graduated from college, and during the spring break, she got married. And her husband and herself are both 23 now. Yeah, because she just had her birthday, so they're both 23. And the first thing that we did when we sat down with them when they were getting ready to get married was like, you have to realize the responsibility that comes along with this, that there's going to be compromise. And just like you said, you can't use the person's love for you as a weapon against them. In fact, that was one of our rules that we had to put up there, and Don't Piss Me Off with, and something that we had to learn ourselves, is that when a person, you know that they'll do anything for you, don't manipulate them like that, and don't use that as a weapon to get what you want out of the relationship, because that causes resentment. It's a lot of communication. It's a lot of being able to compromise with each other. And what else?
Well, from a husband's perspective, and I'm going to break it down to you like this, Mother Love. Are you ready for this, ma'am?
I'm ready, baby. Come on with it. Come with it.
Okay, now when I met my wife, and I had to learn to appreciate a good woman, because when I met Toby, I had 30 girlfriends. Okay,
And
30. Yeah,
you couldn't even keep up
on
with all that.
rotation. I had one chick a day, and everybody was happy and fine with it, but I still felt empty, and that I just didn't have the right person.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finally got with her, and we understood what we were doing with this blended family and building each other up and these children, I said, Father, you have finally given me what I've asked for.
Mm-hmm.
So many men keep on praying to God that he gives them something, and then when God blesses them, they throw it away because the wife becomes a novelty to them. They start looking for the younger chick, the chick with the high skirt, with the high heels, the easy booty. Okay, let's just be real.
Let's keep it
But
real.
when you find that queen, gentlemen, the person that completes your life, the woman that will love you in spite of your mess, the woman that will love your children as her own, the woman who will pick you up when you cry because your soul is hurting. That's the queen. Honor, reverence her, and appreciate the blessing before it's taken away.
And
because a lot of guys go through hell and they forget just how bad it is.
And then
And we as women also need to recognize that we need to reciprocate.
right.
That's the thing. We want him to shower us with love and wine and dine us and do all this, and that. And if he loves me, accept me the way I am. But no, it goes both ways.
That's
that
it.
man needs to be validated. He needs to be lifted up. And he needs to be known that he is the king and no other man can hold a candle to him. So step off, brother. I got mine right here.
Don't even get stuck on stupid, because and people always tell me, and when you know that you're with the person that you're supposed to be with. I remember when I first saw my husband getting off the elevator in college, we were playing Rate the Freshman Group, and I was like, oh no, that guy's gonna be my husband. That's the father of my children. And he thought I was crazy. They have laws against what I did to get him. It's called stalking. But I've been with the guy for 41 years, and he truly is my king. Our grandchildren, they greet us like that. Good morning, my queen. Good morning, my king. Good morning, princesses. I want them to know that they have royal blood running through their family. Even if we the king and queen of Goofy Land, we're going to be that royal family and respect and honor and cherish and love one another. Oh my goodness, we have run out of time. Tell people how they can get in touch with you and how they can get involved with your seminars. And get the book.
Come to Nyghtstorm.com. That's Nyghtstorm.com. And as we said, we have Nyghtstorm Radio. That's going to be on Love 860 AM. That's WAEC on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Where else can we go?
Well, they also can get us on iHeartRadio, our Radio Now, TuneIn Radio, but all things go to Nyghtstorm.com.
They can even get the book there. All action, no talk. That's what we're about.
Well,
and that's available at Barnes & Noble and
It's available here.
Okay, well, listen.
Google it. It's there.
Listen, I'm waiting for my autographed copy.
Hey, you say nothing but a word.
I'm waiting on my autographed
I'm waiting for my book, too. You better send me that book.
Listen,
You don't want 3 books, Mother Love. I need one.
We are going to have another conversation because you guys are so inspirational, so enlightening. It is my heart is leaping with joy to know that the gauntlet can be safely passed along to the Nyghtstorms and that there is going to be help for the young people. Yeah, because look, after you get to be my age, I'm just going to hit them with a shoe. I'm going to hit him with a shoe.
Hey, I've done that as a young age. So.
See,
Can I say one more quick thing, Mother Love?
because they over here is in the window with their face pressed on. Will you get off the radio? Your turn is up. Go ahead.
Okay, one quick thing. Thank you for all the work that you've done for the American Diabetes Association. We really appreciate it. I got family with diabetes, and you are a true inspiration, man.
Well,
Thank you, and God bless you.
I receive that, and may the universe continue to open up and conspire for both of your great success. Ladies and gentlemen, that was YG and Toby George Nyghtstorm. They are the dynamic duo of life management. And babies, you know I love you, and there's nothing you can do about mother loving you. Peace, babies.
Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You are listening to LA Talk Radio. We say what we want.